Hey everyone, this is Zach Morrison, known as VladBrad. Another exciting podcast. As you can hear in my voice, I'm very excited, and I'm gonna do this opening. I'm gonna do this as calmly as I possibly can. I'm gonna be very calm when I do my opening right now. I'm gonna be very, very relaxed and chill. So let's see. Let's get it, you guys. Let's get it.
KBOP LLC, thank you all for rocking with me in the world of Mad VladBrad. Yeah.
This is gonna feel real good, alright? Most dope.
Yeah.
Everybody please put a thumb in the air.
We got a good one for you guys. I got a good one for you guys. This podcast is gonna be epic, just like another great one in the books. It's gonna be another great one in the books, you guys. And again, I gotta say, you know what? I appreciate all the listeners. You guys been rocking with me, and I appreciate it a whole lot. I mean, wow, thank you so very much. So yeah, another exciting one for you guys. Another exciting one in store. Before I say anything else, before I get into it, I gotta say, King Cannabis, brought to you by them. Check them out if you get a chance. But yeah. Also, let me address this. I will be going live, and I appreciate you guys' comments. If you guys can, leave comments, tell me what you think about the show. If you guys get a chance to do that, I mean, it's greatly awesomely appreciate it. So yeah, let's get into this. It's been about a week. Since I did my last podcast. I gotta say, I'm trying to upload and bring you guys podcasts every week. I mean, you guys definitely been checking me out, been rocking with me, so that's greatly appreciated. Always appreciated. I mean, what can I say, man? Wow. Like, when I look at my numbers, I looked at the people who's been listening all around the world. Again, I've been scoping it out, and I was like, these guys actually listening to me, you actually hearing what I have to say. This is insane. So here's how I'm gonna do this. Usually I rock on a trending topic, and everything else, but I'm gonna get more common sensey today. I'm good, with this podcast, I'm getting more common sensey. I'm gonna talk about stuff that I think that needs to be addressed. And don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna do I'm still gonna do trending topics. I'm still gonna do that, but not right now. I'm not gonna do it on this specific podcast. I'm gonna focus on things that I think people need to adhere to. I think this is stuff that I have vague experience about, but I mean, you guys probably also went through as well, just like I went through it. So I'm going to say stuff that I know that you guys can relate to and I can relate to. You see what I mean? So yeah. With that being said, let's get right into it. And here's the first thing, right? Let's talk about leadership. We're going to talk about leadership. And by leadership, I mean the definitions of a true leader. You always hear people say, you always hear guys say, "Oh yeah, I'm a leader. Yeah, I'm a total leader. Like, I don't follow anyone. I'm a complete leader. Like I do me, and I don't follow anyone. Like I'm the coolest guy. Like, I just kind of do my own thing. Like I'm just so different. I stand out." Okay. And okay, I hear that a lot, right? I hear that a lot. And then not only that, when you hear that, when you go to, like, say if you're working on a job, or you dealing with a situation where you're setting up an event, or like say if you're some type of club promoter, whatever the case is, whatever you're doing, you got to deal with people. There's always a bunch of chiefs and not enough Indians. You see what I mean? Everybody want to be a chief, but hardly anybody wants to be an Indian. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna touch on that. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this. The definitions of a leader. But here's what people get the misconception of when I talk about a leader, right? People get the misconception, if you will, misconception of a leader don't necessarily have to be positive. A leader could be somebody maniacal. He can be demented in the brain, but he can yet still be a leader. What makes a person a leader is what he or she is unique. The uniqueness of that person. Like say somehow they're different, or they stand outside the box, or they think outside the box, and they just somehow become, and the idealism, they can put the idealism on someone else, on other people that matter, and people seem to gravitate towards a true leader. Now, here's the thing about it, right? I'm going to say this, like, you know, to be a true leader, it have to be something different about you, like something that you don't do or do that other people don't do. Like, say, okay, not dissing anybody, not trying to throw shots at anybody or whatever, but here's what a leader does. A leader is somebody, okay, like, not okay, anything everybody do, right? That you could think that everybody does normally. A leader is somebody who may not do that. Like somebody, one of the rare numbers. Like example, let's say, I'm going to just think a random example. Let's say drink alcohol, right? People, you can think everybody drinks, oh, let me have a martini. Let me get a vodka on the rocks. Like everybody drinks, but you get them rare people that don't drink. You see what I mean? It's very rare, but you get that. So people that don't, I would say they have leadership potentials because they do something that most people don't do. Like to be a leader, you have to do something that most people don't do, or you're doing something that nobody does. You see what I mean? To be a true leader. And then here's the thing about it. Most people most people follow suit and most people do things they don't know why they do it. Honestly, like you have people like, whether they're smoking or whatever, they don't even know why they do it. You know what I mean? Like if you go up to somebody, ask them why they smoke cigarettes, right? Example, excuse me, I wonder now, don't get me wrong. Some people won't answer your question. Some people actually, they'll give you a legitimate answer. They give you a legitimate, mature, intellectual answer as to why they smoke. Like some people say, okay, I smoke to relieve stress. I smoke just to get away from it all. I smoke because it calms me down. That's what I hear regularly, right? Not telling nobody to smoke or not. I mean, do what you want to do. I'm not here to judge anybody. However, I'm just saying the potentials of a leader. You know what I mean? But you have some people, I don't know why I smoke. I don't know. Like some people don't know, most people don't know actually. So I'm using that as an example of, people who are followers versus leaders, so let's say, a leader is somebody who's forthcoming. Just giving you an example, like a leader is somebody who's forthcoming. A leader is somebody who, again, like I said earlier, stand outside the box. A leader is somebody who's not afraid to ask questions. Like, okay, here's a definition of a leader in a small case. So let's say you're walking down the street, right? And a light is taking forever. And let's say you want to get across the street and you're at the crosswalk. And let's say, the cars aren't driving by unless the person who take the initiative to cross the street first, a lot of times have leadership potentials. Like they're the one who crossed the street first and other people just kind of follow suit. Okay, he crosses something or he or she crosses. So let me cross. You see what I mean? So, a leader is somebody who take the initiative a lot of times, whether it be something positive, whether it be something negative, and that's just a leader's a leader. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to be a good leader, but you can still be a leader nonetheless. You see what I mean? So, again, let me shout out some listeners in other countries that have been kind of support me before I go on. Before I continue the subject matter. I'm going to continue the subject matter, but let me shout you guys out really fast. Japan, what's up? Gotta say what's up to Japan. I gotta say what's up to China, Russia. I gotta say what's up to Sweden. I gotta say what's up to Egypt. Switzerland. Gotta give you guys a shout out. And of course, America, I gotta give, shout outs, whatever. But yeah, back to the subject matter. Okay. And if I forgot you, I'll say you next week. So just like if I forgot the countries a bit, cause I'm getting listeners from different countries. I mean, my numbers are insane, like more than what I could even imagine. I mean, thank you. Wow. But yeah, a leader is somebody. Oh yeah. Again, if I missed you, I will definitely go back and I will shout you out on my next podcast for sure if I missed your country, because I mean, people in different countries are listening to me and like, I'm like, wow, it puts more pressure on you to actually talk and say stuff because, people in the other countries are listening to you. So you're like, whoa, okay, what do I say? But yeah, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing and everything else. And, you guys are going to continue to rock with me. So it's greatly appreciated. Back to the subject matter at hand. So yeah, leader. Okay. Like another example, right? See, if you're curious whether you're a leader or not, you have to search within yourself and realize what's different about you. what's unique about you that you only do, or something that you don't do that everybody else does. You see what I mean? Like, let me see. I'm gonna give another example. Let me see another example. Let me see. What could let me see something somebody rarely does. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say somebody who don't drink soda. These are an example, right? Everybody drinks it. Mostly everybody, or pop or whatever, soda or soda pop. I could say soda pop, and you get them rare people who don't drink it. You know what I mean? Using it as an example, and they can share their ideas as to why they don't drink it, and then they can lead other people to support their cause. So that's person is a potential leader. You know what I mean? Just thinking of, something else. Let's say, you have a lot of vegans out there, you have a lot of vegetarians. So, I can't use these as an example, even though that's good. If you're a vegan and vegetarian, more power to you. You see what I mean? But I'm just using it as an example as to, using some examples as what makes people true leaders. And most of the time, leaders are brave. Most of the time, leaders are brave and they're bold. Most of the time, brave and bold are good qualities of a true leader. Being brave and being bold. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm definitely thinking about that. That's definitely something to think about. So definitely soul search yourself and see what makes you different. And here's the thing, right? I'm going to say this as well. People who drink, people who smoke, people who, let's say, do drugs, people who, let's say, I'm trying to think, let's say people who, pretty much what I just named, like the majority of everybody do that. Like everybody does it. But let's say you don't do either of those. You just say you don't do either of those. You're different. That means you're different. You're like, if you're somehow managed to not do all three of those, you're different. So, you're outside of the box because you're going outside of what's considered normal or outside of what's considered, regular. So if one of them people who sit outside them kind of boxes, then that makes you a leader. If you're able to, let's say, if you're able to, advocate what you do, and if you can give legitimate reason why you don't, and you can get other people to listen to you, then that makes you a legitimate leader. So yeah, that's definitely a definition of what a leader is. Here's the thing. Here's a model a leader go by as well. A leader go by this model. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Pretty much like if you're trying to learn something, if you're going to school for something, it's good to ask questions. A true leader was going to ask them questions and they're going to want to learn, because, most people introverted and they're like shy and, they don't really like to speak their mind because they're afraid of what others think. They're afraid of what other people may say or think about them, or what you wear. What you wear makes you a leader as well. Let me not forget about that. Whatever that you're wearing, let's say you wear something outside let's say, for example, pajama day. Let's say you wear pajamas to the mall, right? Everyone else is not wearing pajamas. So let's say you do that. That makes you're different. You're different somehow. But let's say if you wear your pajamas and let's say the way you wear them with confidence, they're going to make other people look at you and they're going to say, okay, he's wearing his pajamas with confidence. I think I'm going to do it. He or she's wearing those pajamas to the mall in public, all through our public in confidence. So I think I'm going to do it. You see what I mean? That makes you a trendsetter and a leader. You see what I mean? So, yeah, definitely a true definition of a leader. If you could somehow do something differently and inspire others to do it. Leaders are inspired too. They definitely inspire others. Leaders definitely inspire others. You get the great leaders and the great leaders that have existed. They've inspired others. You see what I mean? So definitely a true definition of a leader. I have to expand on that because, a lot of people don't know, a lot of people aren't sure. So if you think you're a leader, go for it. Me personally, I'm a leader without a doubt because I know where I differ at. I know where I'm different. I know where my uniquenesses are. And so, yeah, definitely a true leader without a doubt. With that being said, I was able to touch basis on that subject matter and everything else. So, I got to touch bases on another important subject matter that I think that something that we all deal with. This, what I'm about to talk about now, is something that we all have to deal with within ourselves. You see what I mean? And this is something that we all go through, or if we haven't gone through, we're definitely going to go. If you haven't gone through, you're definitely going to go through. This is something we all went through, or something we're definitely going to go through eventually in our life, no matter whether you're a boy, girl, big, small, fat, or tall, however your shape, whatever, anything, whatever. You're going to definitely go through this, and this is called forgiveness. The degrees of forgiveness. Degrees of forgiveness. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by degrees of forgiveness, right? You ever heard you guys ever heard when it say, forgive and forget? Somebody do something wrong to you, forgive me, forget, right? And then some people are religious and they use their religious, beliefs in terms of why they want to forgive somebody or why they should forgive somebody. But this is something that I definitely have to touch bases on, because forgiveness is not easy. Definitely not easy. It's something that requires wisdom. It requires patience. It requires you to be like, strong-minded to a certain degree, because, depending on the nature of how wrong you were done, it makes it that much more difficult to forgive a person. You know what I mean? Like, and with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a touch of my life, a little bit more of my life, and why I'm bringing the subject matter up. But everybody have different reasons as to why. But I'm going to give you guys a scenario or whatever. And I mean by degrees of forgiveness, degrees of it. First, okay, before I give you the scenario, I'm going to break it down in terms of what I mean. I'm going to break the degrees down, the degrees of forgiveness down. There are different degrees. Let's say, here's a first degree, right? Here's a first degree. First of all, the first degree is unforgiveness. Like, you don't forgive them at all. You know what I mean? Let's say somebody did something to you that's wrong and you don't forgive them, period. You just don't forgive them. That's the first degree, because you didn't forgive them at all. So based on the fact you chose not to forgive that person, I mean, that's the first degree of it. You didn't forgive them at all. So basically you're going to grudge them forever and not ever forgive them. Or maybe you will forgive them. Who knows? I'm just saying that's the first degree of forgiveness is not forgiving them at all. Here's a second degree of forgiveness. The second degree of forgiveness is when you forgive them, but you're still angry at them, right? Because let's say, I'm trying to think of something. Let's say you let your friend borrow your car and they wreck your car. Blam! They like, okay, better yet, let's say, you let somebody borrow your car, right? They borrow your car. I say, I'm gonna say chicks, right? I'm gonna say Susie. Susie asked Beth, "Hey Beth, you mind if I borrow your car?" Oh yeah, Susie, yeah, sure, you can borrow my car, Susie. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're good friends. We've been friends like forever, and I know you'll treat my car with respect, and you'll do everything. Oh yeah, totally, Beth. I'll definitely use your car, and I'll definitely do well by your car. I'll never. I'm just gonna borrow your car for a second. I mean, it's maybe for like 45 minutes. I have something really, really important. You're the best friend in the world. You're so awesome. You're the best friend ever. Oh, thank you so much for letting me borrow your car. Because that's just something that no one probably else will let me do. But based on the fact you're a good friend, you let me borrow your car. Thank you. Okay, cool. She borrows your car, right? She borrows your car. She borrows Susan, whatever. I think I said Susie. Susan borrowed Beth's car, right? So here's what Susan does. Here's what Susan does. And I'm going to get to driving in a minute. I'm going to talk about driving. But first, let me say this, right? So let's say Susan borrowed Beth's car. She's driving. And, she's driving and everything else. She said, Scott is texting me. Let me text Scott back. Even though I'm driving my car, let me text back Scott. Let me text him. Okay. She's texting, right? She's texting. Oh my God. No, I didn't stop it. Oh no. No. Oh my gosh. I just wrecked Susan. I just wrecked Beth's car. Oh no. Why did I do that? And now she wrecked it. What is she going to say to me? I don't know how to. I don't know. What am I going to say? I mean, I got to call and explain what happened. She let me borrow a car, being a good friend, but now I wrecked her car. What do I do? What do I say? So she has to let Beth know that she wrecked her car, right? So let's say Beth is angry. She's pissed off. Like she's mad, right? Hulk smash mad. I let you borrow my car. You wrecked my car. I can't believe it. Like, oh my God. Like, I really just let you use my car and nobody else let you, and you wrecked my car. I can't believe you. look, I'm so sorry. I wrecked your car. Just, can you forgive me? Can you just, I'll do anything to make it up to you. Please forgive me. Okay, fine. I forgive you. Fine. But even though she forgave her, she's still mad. Like she's still angry. So that's a second degree of forgiveness, is when you forgive somebody, but you're still angry at them. Some would say that's not true forgiveness, right? And I can partially agree. However, it takes some people the courage to even say they forgive you, because some people pride get in the way, their ego and their pride get in the way. They don't even want to admit that they forgave somebody. So the second degree of forgiveness is really when you forgive somebody and but you're still angry at them. Just the fact you say you forgive them and you're still angry at them, technically is not really forgiving. But based on the fact you took the first step, even to just say that you forgive them, that's a step in its own. You see what I mean? For some people, at least, that's the third step of forgiveness. The second step of forgiveness. I'm gonna get to the third in a second, but that's definitely the second step of forgiveness, is when you forgive somebody, but yet you're still angry at them. You know what I mean? So the first step is unforgiveness. The first step I just said was you don't forgive them at all. Like you're pissed off at them. You don't forgive them at all. The second step is you forgive them, but you're still angry at them. You see what I mean? That's the second step. Okay, here's the third step of forgiveness. Here's the third step. And this step is what most people do. Like, okay, with this step of forgiveness, most people feel like, you forgave them and you feel as though you did the right thing. The third step of forgiveness is when, let's say, somebody do wrong by you, right? I'm trying to think of another scenario. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to give another scenario. Let's say, okay, I'm trying to think. Let's say there's two guys, right? Because I just did two girls, right? Let's say there's two guys. And let's say they're friends, right? The two guys, they're friends. Two guys are friends. They're friends. Two guys are friends. Let's say they're going to call them, let's say Joe and let's say Bob, right? Joe and Bob. We're going to say Joe and Bob. Okay, let's say Joe has a girlfriend and he really cares about his girlfriend. Joe has a girlfriend. He really cares about her. And he brings around Bob, right? He brings around Bob. And let's say Joe, he say, oh yeah, Bob. Yeah, dude. He's my girl, Stacy. Dude, we've been dating for like about 6 months. I think she's the one, dude. I mean, she's really cool. And Bob, oh yeah? Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, bring her around. Bring around the friends, dude. We'll all hang out and we'll have a good time. And Bob like, okay, yeah, totally, man. We'll do that. We'll do that. And so he brings her around, right? So, Joe brings his girlfriend around Bob and they all kind of get together and hang out. And let's say they all get to know each other. And let's say Bob sleeps with Joe's girlfriend. Let's say the example, right? Something happened. He slept with her. And here again, this is the third step of forgiveness I'm talking about. Now, let's say, he find out about it. Stacy tells Joe, oh, I gotta confess something. Me and Bob, we slept together. It was a total accident. It just sort of happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. And Joe's like, what? Are you kidding me right now? Like, what are you, that's one of my good friends. How can you sleep on this? You're such a whore. You're a whore. And then now let me call Bob up and ask him, what's the deal with that? Oh yeah, dude. It happened, man. I'm so sorry, man. Dude, please forgive me. It just kind of just happened. Dude, can you forgive me for that? Third step of forgiveness. Third step. Bob says, you know what, dude? You know what? I forgive you, bro. I forgive you. But here's the thing. We're no longer friends, but you know what? We're no longer friends, but I forgive you. And, dude, we can move on with our lives. And, we could just kind of, I made peace with you, man. I made peace with you. And, I forgive you, bro. It's all good, man. But I'm breaking up with Stacy. We're over with now because I see she's nothing but a whore. And, you were my friend. You slept with her, but I'm not even mad at you anymore, bro. I'm not even mad at you. But you know what? What's going to happen? I'm not going to deal with you anymore. You have a good life, man. I wish you the best in your life. Okay, bye. You see what I mean? Now you're not dealing with Joe is not dealing with Bob anymore because, he slept with his girlfriend. So now he's done with him, but he forgave him and he's cool with him. He's cool with him, but they're not friends anymore. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much, I would call that the third step of forgiveness. And the reason why I would call that the third step of forgiveness because I'm just using that as a scenario. Like, you can forgive somebody for something because you don't have to deal with them anymore. Like, say you forgive them, you're not angry at them anymore. You found peace, they found peace, and you guys moved on with your lives. You see what I mean? So that's the third step of forgiveness, when you forgive somebody and you move on with life. Y'all forgive each other and move on with life. A lot of times that happen in relationships as well. In relationships, let's say people break up and, they forgive each other, whatever the wrong they've done to each other, and they just move on in life. You know what I mean? So yeah, that happens quite often in relationships as well. So that's pretty much the third step of forgiveness. Let me explain it. The third step of forgiveness is you forgive somebody, you're not angry at them, and you guys move on with life. You move on with your life, they move on with their life. You guys move on in peace. That's the third step of forgiveness. And that's what most people do. They feel like, most people that do the third step of forgiveness, and they feel as though that, they did right because they made peace with that person, and and according to their religious beliefs, whatever, they made it to where, they're no longer at odds with anybody. They still manage to move on peacefully and find closure and move on in life, just in general. So let's talk about the steps of forgiveness that I just talked to you guys about. The first one is this. It's not forgiving them at all. No forgiveness. That's the first step. Second step is forgiving them, but you're not angry at them. Forgiving them, but you're still angry at them. You're angry, so you really, it's kind of like not forgiveness. That's the second step. The third step is you forgive them, but you don't have to deal with that person you forgave anymore. You guys moved on in life. You guys made peace. That's the third step. You say, okay, wow, those are the three steps. What could four possibly be? Three is like the it. Like, three is the it factor. Like, there can't be a four because three was like the it factor. Okay, check it out. Here's the fourth step of forgiveness. People do this as well. And, people do this as well. But people, a lot of times when they do this fourth step, they get taken advantage of. In some cases, here's the fourth step of forgiveness, is when you forgive somebody and you forgive them and, but you still deal with them after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, they wrong you somehow. And after they do wrong to you, they turn around and they still deal with you. Like, say, and a lot of times that's in relationships as well. That could be with best friends. That could be a relationship. That could be with siblings or whatever. You'll still have to deal with the person after you forgave them for whatever it is that they done to you. And you're still dealing with them, and you truly forgave and you forget. You forgave them and you forget about it. You know what I mean? You forgave them and you completely forgot about it. And you guys are still dealing with each other. You're back to being friends. You're back to being, in a relationship. You're back to being cool with your brother, being cool with your sister, your mom, your dad, whoever it was. That's the fourth step. But let me explain something too, right? Speaking of friends, here's what most of you guys go through. I've been through this as well. Let me tell you what in situations what people go through when they come to forgiveness, especially you have friend circles, right? And this happened to me. So I'm doing this based on my experience. I'm sure other people went through it as well. Let's say you're in a friend circle, right? Let's say you're in a friend circle. I can't really think of, let's say, okay, I'm going to use females as an example, but I could easily use guys. I could easily have used guys for this example, but I'm using females. Let's say you have Becky. Let's say you have Becky, you have Christine, and you have, let's say, that's Becky, Christine, and there's Rachel. Becky, Christine, and Rachel, right? Becky, Christine, and Rachel. Let's say Becky and Rachel had problems. Let's say they got a situation. Like, let's say Becky and Rachel, mind you, all three of them are Becky, Christine, and Rachel, all three friends. All three of them are my friends, right? They've been knowing each other for years. All three of them been knowing each other for years, right? But here's the thing, right? Let's say, Becky gets into it with Rachel. Like, they have a major difference. They have a major difference, right? And their difference is so severe that they decided not to be friends anymore. They can't forgive each other. They can't reconcile. They can't work it out. Becky, Christine, and Rachel. Again, I'm just saying the names, but let's say, yeah, Becky and Rachel can't work it out. Christine is the one in the middle. Christine is friends with both of them, right? So here's what usually happens. Rachel, Becky, let me see, Becky, Christine. Yeah. Let me see, Becky, Christine. Let's say Becky, right? Becky tells Christine, I don't want you being friends with Rachel. Don't talk to Rachel no more because me and Rachel got into it. So I don't want you talking to her anymore. You see what I mean? So Becky, Christine, and Rachel. So Becky tells Christine not to talk to Rachel because of the difference that they had. I don't know if you guys can kind of follow me where I'm coming from. But here's the thing about that. Let me explain it. And you get people who are putting in positions like that. You have one friend who, and all three of you guys been friends. And let's say, even though all three of you guys been friends for like forever, your friend will tell you not to talk to your other friend because she got into it with your other friend, but you didn't get into it with your other friend. You still cool with her. You see what I mean? So now she's trying to give you an ultimatum. Either you're going to be cool with her or you're not going to be friends anymore. You see what I mean? And people who do that, it's wrong. Like that's not right. You see what I mean? Because just because you got into it with the friend, why are you going to put your other friend in a position and tell you're not going to talk to them because they're not friends, because you're not friends with the other friend? You know what I mean? It had to have been something severe. In order for you to have a strong case, they had to have done something extreme for you not to, like, for them not to have talked to the other friend. Like, let's say Becky, Christina, Rachel, right? Becky, let's say Becky, right, tells Christine not to be friends with Rachel. Rachel had to have done something very severe, like slept with both their men. You see what I mean? Let's just say Becky told Christine that Rachel slept with both their good men. So don't be friends with her because she slept with both of our guys. Say, oh no, oh hell no, girl, no. You see what I mean? Then that's good ground to not be friends with her anymore. You know what I mean? It had to be something severe. I'm using it as an example. But if it's just a personal issue that y'all two had, and if it's a personal issue that y'all two had, and it's just y'all two, how you gonna tell Christine not to be friends? How Becky gonna tell Christine not to be friends with Rachel when it's y'all two that had the difference? You know what I mean? It wasn't Christine. So I'm using that as an example. Basically, how you gonna tell one person not to be, even though all three of you guys been friends for like ever, how you going to tell one of your good friends not to talk to the other friend because you're not talking to them anymore? You know what I mean? That's wrong. It's straight wrong, and that's what I mean. In the situation, that's when forgiveness is an issue, forgiveness, because instead of trying to play your friend against the other friend because you're not talking to him, why don't you reconcile and work it out? You know what I mean? Or if you can't work it out, if you just can't forgive, why don't you just simply, just not talk to that friend that you're not cool with and still be friends with your other friend. You know what I mean? And don't get mad if your friend talks to the other friend because they're still cool. You know what I mean? Let them learn on their own about the friend who you feel that's not a good person. Let them experience on their own. Don't go tell them not to be friends with that person. You see what I mean? That's your problem you have with them, not theirs. So that's what people have to understand. But guys do this too. Women mostly, but guys too. You see what I mean? So that's definitely, I went through that. Other people went through it. Like say me, right? Zach Morrison. I'm going to use me, Zach Morrison, as an example. If let's say I get into which this will never happen. I'm just saying if it did happen. If I have two friends and one of my friends can't see a difference, I'm not going to tell my other friend to don't talk to that friend because me and that friend not talking anymore. You know what I mean? Oh, don't go talk to Scott because me and Scott not cool, bro. Leave Scott alone. Like, why am I going to tell my friend that? But him and Scott never had any problems. They never had any problem. That's me and Scott's problem. You see what I mean? So yeah, don't do that. Like people who do that, I think that's immature, juvenile, and you have a lot of growing up to do. Straight up, straight like that. So yeah, definitely have to elaborate on that. Definitely have to talk about that. And let me give you guys another piece of my life, right? I'm sitting here talking about forgiveness, and I'm in a situation where I can't forgive. Like when I really, okay, I haven't had the best relationship with my father growing up. And you say, wow, dude, what have you done? You're supposed to respect your parents. I'm cool with my mom, but the thing is, just kind of give you guys so you guys can have an idea. Just give you guys another piece of my life since you guys been listening and been kind of rocking with me. I think it's only fair that I give you guys another dosage of my life. Growing up, I think it's because, I don't want to make any speculations, but I'll just say this much. I didn't really have a relationship with my father. Not that, I was around him. I was around him in terms of just him and me, at a few times. But as far as he was always, kids aren't for everybody. Being a dad and being a mom is not for everybody. But I'm gonna get to that subject in a minute. But basically, me and my dad never really had a relationship growing up because he never really tried to talk to me, never told me he loved me. Just was the type of dude who was just afraid to share his feelings. Never really took out time to really get to know me, and I've never had any arguments with him. Like I've never argued with him. I've never yelled at him. We never had any yelling and shouting matches or nothing like that. However, it was just being like, he just didn't know how to be a dad. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can put it. So, he had his family, my dad's family and everything. I've never met I met one of his sisters and everything else. I met his sisters and, so I've never really met, like his brothers and, other, family members that he had. He have other kids that I haven't met. I met one of his kids, I think. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about it. And you say, okay, what does forgiveness have to do about this? Like, I thought you were talking about forgiveness, dude. Let me get to that. Let me get to that. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that and why forgiveness has to come into play. It's because, again, he have a sister that he was close with and she knew all his secrets and she knew all his, she knew all his skeleton that was in his closet. So I guess he wanted to keep me a secret. I guess he, you know what I mean? So I guess he spent time with me just to get at my mom. But when I was with him, he never really took out time with me. But that's not even a problem I had with him. Here's a problem I had with him, right? Is the fact that, okay, he had other kids and he spent time with his other kids, brought his other kids around his family, brought his other kids, he had a girlfriend at the time. His girlfriend was him and mom, his girlfriend and my mom. You know how women can get catty. Whatever. Women can be catty, right? So his girlfriend told my mom, that's why your retarded son's never going to meet his family. Like she said that to my mom. And I remember hearing that. And she stood by that. Like she stood by it. You know what I mean? Like, she made it happen. Basically, she said, I'm going to have a kid with him. When I have a kid, my kid's going to be around his family and all kind of stuff. And she was right. She had a daughter with him, and, he brought that daughter around his family. And he brought that daughter. Not only did he bring that daughter around his family, he brought his girlfriend's kids who weren't his biological kids around his family as well. And never brought me around. Right. So, I was like, okay. But here's the thing. I wasn't even tripping on that, honestly. Like I didn't even care about that. Honestly, like I was like, okay, even as a kid, I cared when I was a kid, you know what I mean? But when I got older and I started getting like about 15, 16, I stopped giving a crap. It was like, okay, whatever, cool. You know what I mean? So, he was accustomed to not being around me, not seeing me. And I was like, okay, but cool. You know what I mean? But here's the thing I didn't forgive about. Here's what I mean. When I was about 9 years old. No, I was about 8. I was about 8 years old. And kids say things. When you're a kid, you say things you don't mean. A lot of times you do stuff you don't mean. So I remember I was in a front room. No, I was in a room. Mind you, I'm 8 years old. You see what I mean? So I'm in a room and, his girlfriend kid comes in there at the time, who's not his biological kid. She was like, what's wrong with you? And I said, well, I just don't think it's fair. You guys get to be around my father more than I do. You guys have a father. So when I said that, she went and told her mom what I said. And when she went and told her mom what I said, her mom in turn went and told my dad. So this is what my dad do. Mind you, I'm 8 years old, right? 8 years old. My dad goes and he says, he calls me in there in the front room in front of everybody, like, let's say, hey, Zach, get in here. And I go in the front room. Hey, what's going on? He said, you know what? I'm not going to say her name. Let's call her Suzanne. Let's say Suzanne, right? Yeah. Suzanne told me what you just said. And mind you, there's people in the front room. Like, I'm 8 years old, right? So, he said, yeah, Suzanne told me what you just said and everything about, not spending time and you think what you thought wasn't fair. Well, if that's how you feel, since you told her that, you're not allowed to come over here anymore. You never allowed to come over my house. I don't want you here anymore. Like, he in front of everybody. So I'm 8 years old. I'm trying to hold back tears. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like really hurt. Right. So from that moment on, that's when I started losing the love. You know what I mean? The love just started being lost. And as I would get older, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't ever want to be around him again. Like, I'm done. 8 years old, I said this, right? So again, I remember, I was in a car. My uncle came to pick me up, my Uncle Curtis, and my mom is black, So my Uncle Curtis, he was black. And he was telling me, I'm like crying, looking. He said, boy, what's wrong with you, man? Dude, you better not be here crying. I said, no, I'm good, man. He said, okay, yeah, man, don't be crying in here, man. You're stronger than that. Don't be, you a man. Men don't cry. That's how he that's how he felt. And ever since then, that kind of just stuck with me. You know what I mean? So here's what happened though. And here's what I say about forgiveness. Again, I'm going to forgiveness, but here's what it is, right? Years go by, more years go by. My father gets older. I get older. So he started thinking, you know what? Where's my son at? Like, he wants to be around me, right? So, I haven't called him, not try to reach him. Like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? So, but here's what I did. I said, you know what? I want him to see the man that I became. I haven't seen my dad at the time. I haven't seen him in like 15 years. And around that time when I seen him, I was like 22. Like, I haven't seen my father the last time I seen him, I was like maybe 9 or 8. And then I didn't see him again until I was 22, right? So when he seen me when I was 20, he said, dude, you got tall. He's like, whoa, man, what did they be feeding you, man? Why'd you get so tall? Cause I'm like 6'6" now, right? My dad is not even 6 feet tall, honestly. I'm looking down at this dude, like, and I used to look up to him, but now I'm looking down at him. But I said, let me play it cool, cause I want him to see the man that I became. You see what I mean? So I kind of went around him for a second, and he seen how well-mannered I was. He seen how charismatic I was, and he seen how cool I was. And he said, yeah, man, we're going to have a reunions, man. And it'd be cool if you come to, I said, oh, okay. Yeah. Reunions. Okay. Yeah, cool. So, here's the thing, right? He told me he tried to spark up a relationship, and I couldn't do it. But there's more. He was with this white chick named Laura. I'm going to put Laura's name because I like Laura. I'm cool with Laura. I'm cool with Laura. So, Laura had a son. Named Brandon, who's also biracial. His dad is black. Laura's white. And Brandon, he was a bully type of dude. He looked like the boxer. I don't know if you got no Butterbean, the box. He's a big, husky, like fat dude, looked like Butterbean. So he was bullying my father. Like, Brandon was before I came around. So my father reached out to me because he needed somebody to put Brandon in check. That's what he needed. He said, wait a minute, I have a son that I didn't treat right, who I never brought around my family. My son can help me with this Brandon kid. That's what he thought. So, Laura, his girlfriend at the time, or his fiance, said, oh man, Zach, it's so good that you came around, because my father's name is Donald. I'm a blast his name. His name is Donald. Donald, he really needs you. It's good that you came around because he really needs you. This and that. I said, oh, he does? Okay, well, yeah, that's cool. So, me and Brandon, we exchanged words and everything else. I'm a young lion. I'm feeling myself. At the time, I'm like 6'6". I'm 220 pounds, muscle, feeling myself. You see what I mean? And Brandon is like, he looking at me. He's like, don't know what to say. He's like, look, man, I can explain what I said, dude, you don't have to explain nothing. I put Brandon to the side. That's y'all. Just don't disrespect your mom, bro. Because I heard about Brandon and his situations, how he would bully on people who were smaller and weaker than him. And he was bullying on my dad again. I say that again. He would bully my dad because my dad would smoke the weeds and drink the alcohols. He would take my father weed, take my father alcohol, and would bully him. So, I did one of my father's numbers that he would do. Me and Brandon had no problems. If he wanted them problems, I would have gave it to him. If you want to cut from the shoulder, I would have, and I told him that. I said, check this out, Brandon. Look, check it out, bro. Your mom is really cool. She's a really cool lady. She's a really cool lady. You know what I mean? I told him it was him and me. I said, Laura, she's a really sweet person. If your mom tell me that you guys are having problems, if you like, bullying on your mom, then I'm going to come back and we going to come from the shoulders. Like we going to fight. We gonna get physical. You see what I mean? Like I told, or if you want to take it another, he was really from New York and he's in California now. I said, you in California, you on my turf. You in California, you on my turf now. So if you want to go there, we could go there. But trust me, you don't want to do that. Oh, he said, oh, mama. I said, yeah, I don't care what you do with my dad. So what? I don't care. But I explained to Brandon what's going to happen. I said, other than that, I'm not going to come back. You know what I mean? So, I did, and it's not good to do evil for evil. It's really not good. And Laura said, are you going to come back? I said, oh yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. In fact, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And when I come back, we gonna go out to eat. Where y'all trying to go to? Y'all trying to go to Friday? Yeah, we all gonna go out to Friday. Me, you, my dad. We're gonna be one big happy family. We're definitely gonna go out. So I did that, and guess what? I never came back. You see what I mean? I just never didn't go back because I know he needed me. And then for what I hear, he continued to bully on my dad, and I didn't lose a wink of sleep over it. You see, I have a Kuma mindset, a Shaka Zulu mindset, just that unforgiving, just raw. You know what I mean? Like, no. You see what I mean? And he's been reaching out. Like, he tried to follow me on Facebook. He's probably hearing this podcast. Maybe. You see what I mean? But I gives too. I can't even really, I'm not going to use profane language how I feel. You see what I mean? But the thing about it is this. I need to learn forgiveness because should I forgive and just move on with life? And see, you can forgive somebody like I did the third step. Like I forgive him. I can forgive him, but I don't want to have to deal with him. So I told him I forgive because I brung it up because when he tried to be a father to me, he called himself trying to be like, trying to come around and hang out and spark a relationship and trying to tell his family about me, how tall I am and everything else. I was like, I said, well, you know what? I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, dude. Let check this out. I told him just like this. I said, I hear what you're saying, trying to invite me to reunions and all of this, but here's what you did to me. I told him. I said, when I was 8 years old, you told me not to come around. You fronted me off in front of your ex-girlfriend in front of her kids, and then you brung your other daughters. Took pictures with them and all this, and had them around your family, your other kids. You never brung me around. You said, I mean, and you told me you didn't want to see me no more. So why are you trying to have a relationship with me now? You said, I mean, I told him like that. Oh, and here's what he said. Oh, back then I was on a lot of drugs, man. I was on a lot of drugs back then. Man, I apologize, man. Can you forgive me for that? Can you please forgive me for that? Here's what I said. At the time, I said, well, you know what? Yeah, I forgive you. I forgive you. But here's the thing. And this reverts back to the third step. I said, I forgive you. But here's the catch. I'm going to forgive you, but I don't want to see you no more. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to see you. You see what I mean? Straight up, straight like that. You see, I mean, and the thing is, and I like blood is boiling when I said it because I mean it so much. You can die 10 times over and I won't give a F. You see what I mean? So that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like it just, and I feel that way and it is what it is. You see, and I even told, cause his daughter tried to spark up a relationship with me, one of his daughters. And, and I told her like this, it's not her fault. But I said, check this out. If you want to be cool with me and everything else, if you want to be cool with me, but basically this is why. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna blast it. I have a kid, I have a 4-year-old kid and everything else. So she wanted to, I have a nephew. Let me come see my nephew and this and that or whatever. I said, okay, check this out. We could be cool, right? But just don't talk about his family to me because I never met him. You see what I mean? So don't bring them. If you could do that, we could be cool. So, she kept slipping up, and I said, see, I'm giving you a chance. I said, you know what? That's it. Wrap. Done. Cut off. She said, wait. No, please, wait, stop. I said, what is it? She said, look, this what Dad told me, man. I gotta just, let me come clean. She told me, Dad told me this. If I can get a picture with your son, if I can get a picture if I can get a picture, he'll buy me a car. If I can get a picture with your son, he'll buy me a car. Like he'll buy me a car fresh off the lot, paid for. So please, can I just get a picture with your son at least so I can show Dad? Because Dad really wants to be in your son's life and this and that. I said, you know what? I admired the fact you came clean with me. I admire that. So I'm going to respectfully decline what you just said. And I don't want to talk to you anymore, but I respect what you said. You see what I mean? I view you like I view him, even though it's not your fault. And you had an ulterior motive. That's why you try to be cool with me, because you want to see my son and everything else. But I can't do it. You see what I mean? It's not going to happen. You know, so I said, whatever inheritance, whatever he got going, I'll leave that to you guys. I don't want nothing to do with none of it. I won't even be at his funeral. You see what I mean? So, that's pretty much what I told her. I told him the same thing though. I told my dad the same thing. I said, you know what? I forgive you, but let's just move on in life. Let's make peace with each other. You just never going to see me again. I'm never going to see you. And I said, I won't be at your funeral at all. You see what I mean? Like, so that's just what it is, straight like that. You see, so, and he, you know, and that's how I feel. I got that Shaka Zulu Akuma mindset. You see what I mean? Those who know my Instagram, that's why I posted that on my Instagram. I posted a picture of Akuma on my Instagram, because that's how I feel. And that's what it is. You see what I mean? So with that being said, forgiveness. I'm still working on the third step. You know what I mean? So not to judge others. That's why I'm the last person to judge. I'm the last person to judge others, but I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. So yeah, forgiveness. And speaking of kids, here's another subject matter I want to talk about. And this is those kids that cry wolf, right? You get the kids to cry wolf, like, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean by cry wolf. Here's something that would annoy me, and I'm sure and other parents, if you're a parent, I'm sure you went through it as well. And here's, like, say if you spend time with your kid, right? You take them to a play area, you take them to a park, wherever you take them to, right? You have other parents. You have other parents, right? These are the parents, they have their kids, and like they let their kids run off. They let their kids run, don't even watch their kids. You know what I mean? And this is why kids get kidnapped. This is why kids get kidnapped and snatched up, because people don't watch. Like me, I keep an eagle eye on my son, like an eagle eye on him. You see what I mean? But the thing is, with other people and their parents, they don't, and not only that, you have these, like, let's say, I'm not gonna blast specific races of people to do this, but here's what they do, right? You know, you've been in a play area and you get a little girl, mostly little girls, boys too, but it's mostly little girls that does this. Like they'll scream real loud, yeah! You see how annoying that sound? You see how annoying that is? They'll scream real loud like somebody's hurting them or kidnapping them, and they're just playing around. Like, can you tell your kid to be quiet? Because they don't play like that. You know what I mean? Not to be quiet because they're going to play, but when you're yelling and screaming like that, my son he knows better. He knows, bro, come on, dude, not no. You see what I mean? So if you're going to play, like, because let's say if somebody actually screaming, like help me, help, or like helping all that screaming and everything else. That's like the boy that cry wolf, because let's say the kid is really getting snatched, and then let's say somebody snatching your kid up, and the kid is screaming, help, and they're all like yelling, they've been doing, especially girls out there, they're yelling and screaming. You're not going to know if they snatch your kid up, because your kid is so used to screaming, help me. You see what I mean? Yelling. So your kid is gone, getting snatched up because you let your kid play like that. You see what I mean? So people who have kids in these play areas, you know, be mindful of your kids. Don't let your kids run off to where you can't see them. And don't let your kids scream like screaming it's the end of the world, especially if there's no other, when they're just playing with other kids. Tell your kids to knock it the freak off. You see what I mean? If they're not being kidnapped and nobody trying to take your kid, then tell them, don't scream, help me. Don't do that. You see what I mean? And don't be yelling at the top of their lungs like somebody's killing them. Don't do that. You know why? Because when you do that, But you have parents who don't know any better. They just let their kids do that anyway. For you parents to do that, to let your kids do that, you guys aren't fit to be parents, honestly. Yeah, I mean, because you need to teach her and then nurture your kids, teach them. Don't tease people who are less fortunate. Don't make fun of the handicap. Be respectful to your teachers and everything. Teach them morals, teach them principles, teach your kids stuff. You see what I mean? Teach them, do not be a bully and everything else. Teach your kids, be a parent, and live long and prosper. You know what I mean? So yeah. Again, let me re-elaborate on that. When you have a kid, don't let your kid cry wolf, especially when they're not getting kidnapped. You know what I mean? Don't let your kid scream or yell at the top of their lungs when they're playing hide, or they're playing hide and seek, for that matter, with other kids. They're playing with other kids. Don't yell and scream. Don't let them, yell and scream at the top of their lungs like somebody's really out there, like somebody's killing them. I mean, let your kids have fun. Let them yell, whatever, but don't not that kind of yelling. You know what I mean? Be a responsible parent and be civilized. I mean, really. So, with that being said, I guess I'm done with that subject matter. Also, one last thing I got to talk about. I think this last thing I'm going to talk about. Then after this, I'm got to go. And this has to do with driving. You drivers, shit. You drivers out there, shit. Okay, you drivers out there, right? Okay. Oh, basically, how can I say? Don't trust anybody's driving. And this is something that I've been through, and I'm sure other people probably went through it as well. Do not trust everybody driving. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Okay, if you're in a car with somebody who can't drive, or they don't have, and they constantly getting used to getting road raged at, and you're the passenger, try to be in the car with that person as less as possible. And a lot of times the situation is like if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. Yeah. Like say, I've been in car with people, with exes, and they can't drive to save their life. And let's say they don't know how to drive. And like say I'm in the car and somebody will road rage at them, right? Somebody will road rage at them. And you're in the car and you're a victim of circumstance because you're just a passenger and this person can't drive, but you're in a car with this person who can't drive and they're getting road raged at. But here's a worse. Let me explain this even more. Here's what happens even more. Like, let's say I'm gonna bring up an exaggerated scenario real quick. Let's do an exaggerated scenario. Let's say you're in a car with, let's say, I'm gonna say Tamika, right? I don't know. I'm not trying to be, how can I say, don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I'm just using it as an example. Let's say you're in a car with Tamika and Tamika don't know how to drive, right? And let's say, she's driving. Okay. For those of you who don't know, the driving, I mean, in terms of the rule of engagement on the road, for those who don't actually know, the left lane is a fast lane. The right lane is a slow lane, right? So let's say somebody's in a left lane, and let's say Tamika's in a left lane. She's driving extremely slow, and she's getting hunked at. Like, are you serious? And somebody hunking at her. Can you move out the way? And then they drive by. You idiot! What are you thinking? And she's like, "Oh, what are you calling me an idiot? You idiot! So you calling me? Oh, hell no! I got this car, and I'll do this." And now the person yelling, "Oh yeah, I'll do this." But now you're in the passenger seat. You're in the passenger seat while all this is going down. You see what I mean? So now that you're in the passenger seat while all this is going down, you're a victim of circumstance. So you can't help it. You know what I mean? You can't help it but to take it as is. So yeah, don't trust everybody's driving. Do not trust it. Try not to put yourself in that predicament. If you're in a car with somebody, you know that they can't drive, try not to do that. But sometimes you can't help it, depending on your situation, depending on your circumstances. But still, try to do it as less as possible if you can, because you do not want to put yourself in a position with somebody who's road raging, who can't drive, or for somebody who's just a constant road rager and they get extremely aggressive all the time. Try not to put yourself in a position, but a lot of times it's the ones who can't drive who get the most slack in a road rage. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by can't drive. Let's say they're driving a bike lane. They're all up in a bike lane, stuck in a bike lane. Let's say somebody who don't ever signal. Let's say somebody who drives slow in a fast lane. Let me see somebody. And here's another. Oh my God, here's another one. Somebody who's constantly on somebody else's bumper. Like, say you're in a car with this person, right? You're in a car with them, and let's say they're, like you're supposed to give a car space. At least give them a 2-car space, I would say. But you're in a car with somebody who's constantly on the next person's bumper, like they're on the next person's bumper, like, and you're like, okay, the person in front of them, like, why is this dude on my bumper? Why is this chick on my bumper so hard? Are you serious? But you're in a car with the person and they're on somebody else's bumper. So you're like, okay, well, now that puts you in a position because you're in a car with this idiot who can't drive, and they're about to, and if the person in front of them happen to hit their brakes, they're going to smash into the back of their vehicle because they're on the bumper. So yeah, if you're in that kind of situation, try to avoid it. Try to avoid it at all costs if you can. Try not to be in a situation where you're in a car with somebody who don't know how to drive, and now they're on somebody's bumper, and now you're the victim of circumstance. Just please save yourself that drama, save yourself that heartache, give yourself a peace of mind and tranquility. With that being said, this is the end of my podcast. Thank you guys for whoever stuck around this long. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome for this. Social media. The Road of VladBrad on YouTube. Scope that out. Social media. What's it called? My what's it called? My Instagram. VladBrad _world_1. That's on social media. For my my Instagram. My Facebook, Zach Morrison. Scope me out on there. So yeah, I think it's time for this outro. Yep, you guys been awesome. Again, all you guys who've been rocking with me for this long, scoping out my podcast, I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Check me out. Again, I'll be doing my podcast on Fridays. Instead of this Saturdays, I'm going to be doing on Fridays. Again, thank all you guys. You guys are awesome. And with that being said, I am God.